and they brought this new strongman in. His name was Ivan Putski. And we're sitting in the dressing rooms like you couldn't talk your match out. So Monsoon comes back, he says to me, he says, your last match of the first hour, you're working with Putski. You got to work him strong. All right. He said, but you got to go at least 8 minutes. He says, watch Joe McHugh. He said, Joe McHugh's going to lift his glass. That means it's time to go home. That's all right. So we're sitting there, and you couldn't talk the match over. So John Leo Jonathan was probably one of the toughest guys in the business. Leo goes to me, he says, kid, he says, you got Joe Benarski? He says, Putski. I said, yeah. He says, if you don't nail him, he won't have any respect for you. He says, so when you give him a forearm, you got to hit him and hit him hard. All right. And I keep getting told all this shit. So Arnie Scullin comes back. He says, you know, you got to register. I said, no problem. He says, you want to work chicken heel? I said, fine. So I get out there, lock up, hit the lock, hit his arm up, wham, across his back. Locked him up. He goes, oh my God, lighten up. I said, I can't. Wham! He dropped to his knees. He says, oh, Jesus Christ. And I hear this laughing. I hear laughter, and I turned over, and my buddy Tommy Stanton is in the dressing room, and all the boys, all the heels are laughing. I'm saying, oh shit, I got ripped. What am I going to do?
Take it like a...
So we locked up,
like a man.
hit him, and every time he tried to come back, I ducked out of the ropes, put my hands behind my back, dropped to my knees. Don't hit me, don't hit me. And he was, you know, he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't do nothing. As soon as he turned around, wham, bam, hit him hard. Wham, I heard him go, son of a bitch. Nothing else I could do, and I could see Monsoon go. Bruno and what you call and Junior is sitting there laughing. Finally, McHugh, I see the glasses. I said, oh shit, here comes payback. So he throws me in the ring a couple times and take a couple of kicks, and I hear hammer time. I said, oh. He shoots me into the ring, and I come in and I drop my arms, and I seen this guy winding up from his asshole. He hits me, and it's like it dropped you right from across the chest. He wound up, and he hits me with this hammer across my chest and my legs. I do a bottoms out, and I hit my head. I said, oh. He lays across. He says, I hate you. I says, I was only doing my job. I hate you. You're welcome. I got up, went back to the dressing room. Leo grabs me, holds me and hugs me. He says, kid, you got fucking brass. He says, you know, that's one of the toughest guys out there. I said, not as tough as you. And Monsoon said, good job. He says, it looked good. He says, chest a little red, isn't it? Red. I says, I got his fingerprints on my chest. I says, you could pull off his DNA. They would never put us together again because we hated each other. We actually had a hate for each other. Personal. My dad was a big chef in South Philadelphia. Now, my dad was a very good man. He knew that a lot of the wrestlers didn't have a lot of money that came into town. So at the Oregon Diner, the Penrose Diner, my dad said that any of the wrestlers that were hungry could come to the diner. All they had to do was tip. Let them know they were wrestlers and just tip the girls. The only thing they couldn't have was steak, chops, or lobster. Anything else, they could eat whatever they wanted, and my father would sign the check for them. Well, this went on for about a year and a half. And now I'm starting to hear bad mouthing from Joe because he was the cheapest son of a bitch. I mean, he had the first nickel God ever made. He wouldn't part with anything. Now I'm hearing that the food is bad, this and that, and this and that. So I got pissed. Now he's doing the old wrestler's bit. Oh, the food's no good. After eating half the meal, he wants another meal. Not realize he's getting his food for free. You don't have to get a double meal and a half. All you got to do is ask for another meal, and my dad would have taken care of it. So I got pissed. My dad said, "That's it. The boys are done." So I had to go to Monsoon And I went to Arnie Scullin and Angelo Civoldi. I said, guys, I said, I hate to do this. And I said, but my father said, it's over. And he said, why? I said, it's two people, Strongbow.
Everybody get their music.
And Putski. Well, they had a meeting in the locker room. And right before TV taping, they says, hey, Feather, stand up. Hey, Pollock, stand up. And the guys went there, and they said, you know, everybody for the last year and a half, Gene's father's been very nice. You come into town, you go to the Oregon Diner, you go to Penrose, and he took care of the meals. Saturday nights after the Spectrum, you went to the Sportsman's Lounge, which was my father's lounge, and they ate, and all you had to do was pay for your liquor. And Gene said, his father said, the gratuitous meals are all over. He said, because of these two gentlemen. So now when you go to the diner and you have to pay for your meals, make sure when you get in the ring, give your paybacks to Feathers and the Polish Power, because they ruined a good thing for everyone. I finally got my chance to get Putski back. They made a mistake. We were doing an outdoor show in Jersey at the off of 40. There's a Cowtown, it's called the Cowtown Rodeo. Well, we were wrestling out in the rodeo the day after a huge rainstorm. So I'm back there. I wasn't scheduled for the show. I went out with a couple of guys, and there was no dressing rooms to get changed in. We would get dressed up here by exit 1. There was a restaurant, Howard Johnson's, but we had like 4 suites, 4 rooms. So we're getting changed back there, and I'm sitting back there. Monsoon says, you got your gear? I said, yeah. He's all right. Next thing I know, I get in the car, and they're driving me to the arena. I said, who I got? He says, you got Putski. I says,
There is a God.
I says, okay. So I didn't say nothing, and I get out to the ring. Putski says, I'm going home easy. I says, yeah, okay. So we're locking up, and he's nailing. I said, all right, motherfucker. So I got my shot, and I gave him a forearm across his ear. So I go behind him with a schoolboy, and I deep hook him under his tights. So as I roll him, his tights come up. I said, Pulled his tights. He's sitting there in his fucking jock. I dive out of the ring, went to a horse manure pile, stuck his trunks in the horse manure, pounded it in, walked to the car, got in the car, and had the driver drive me back. So I know I'm done. I know I'm getting fired, but I don't give 2 shits. I get back, hotel, I come out of the shower, Monsoon come walking in. He said, who put Gino and Putski in a match? And Arnie Scullin says, I did. He said, what are you, out of your mind? He says, they two hate each other. He said, what did Gino do to him? He said, did he pin him? No. He says, did he double cross him? No. He said, did Gino kill him? No. He said, what did Gino do? He said, he left him balls ass naked in his jock in the fucking ring. He was just his dick in his hand. Putski come running in with a towel. He's hot. I want his fire. Blah, 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 blah. Monsoon said to me, he says, you got a year's notice. He says, you're fired in a year. I said, okay. And Pussy's going, what? And Monsoon says, don't you understand? He says, Gino's my traveling partner. He says, Gino drives the car. He says, I'm diabetic. He says, Gino's the only one that knows how to give me my medicine when we're on the road. He says, you think he's getting fired? If there's a choice, it's you're gone. He says, you're lucky he didn't kill you. So I'm laughing at him. And I says, After that, we wouldn't even speak. He worked a one show for us, and we didn't even go near each other. He wouldn't come within 20 feet of me.